Harley just dropped a bombshell that could flip the entire motorcycle world overnight. It's not a rumor, not a prototype. It's real, and it's built to challenge everything Honda stands for. Underneath the shine hides technology no one expected from an American brand. Dealers are whispering, riders are arguing, and insiders say this move changes the rules for good. If you care about pride, progress, or the future of two wheels, don't blink. Watch till the end, because what's buried inside this machine might rewrite motorcycling itself. Fat Boy returns, legacy reforged. The announcement landed like thunder. Harley-Davidson revealed that the Fat Boy was returning, not as a nostalgic reissue, but as a statement of dominance. The company could have led with numbers, torque, or range. Instead, it led with pride. The Fat Boy's rebirth represents something bigger than a new model. It marks a new era of control, refinement, and purpose. This is the motorcycle that once defined what American muscle meant on two wheels, now rebuilt for a smarter generation that still wants metal, noise, and meaning in equal measure. When Harley's engineers pulled the cover off the new Fat Boy, they weren't showing the past. They were repackaging it for the next chapter. The bike's stance is the same, broad, low, and powerful. But the details whisper change. Lighter alloys, cleaner wiring, hidden sensors. Every bolt looks familiar until you look closer and see precision machining where brute force used to live. The old Fat Boy rumbled like rebellion. This one hums like discipline. Harley knows what it's doing. The name Fat Boy carries a story that no newcomer can buy. It's not about technology, it's about mythology. When that nameplate reappears, every rider, young or old, knows exactly what it stands for. It's pride in steel form. The company is telling the world that evolution doesn't mean surrender. You can modernize without erasing your roots. Dealers are calling it the reset bike, the one that ties old hands and new blood together in the same showroom. The one that proves Harley still owns the definition of American muscle, even when the rest of the world moves towards silent efficiency. The Fat Boy is not just another model. It's a mirror reflecting who Harley is at its core. Loud, confident, and unwilling to fade into museum glass. But the real revolution hides under the skin, and that's where the story truly begins. The hidden strategy, chrome as cover. At first glance, nothing about the Fat Boy's return looks radical. Chrome glints, steel flexes, and the familiar growl remains. But behind the shine sits a blueprint for Harley's long game, a transformation disguised as tradition. Insiders close to the launch hinted that the bike's redesign isn't about short-term sales. It's about creating a chassis and wiring foundation that can host multiple propulsion types without changing the rider's experience. The Fat Boy may look like a monument to the past, but it's quietly ready for the future. Harley's engineers rebuilt the Fat Boy's frame into a universal mount, ready for refined combustion today and silent torque tomorrow. Beneath familiar chrome lies a strategic ambush, heritage hiding innovation. Pipes and tanks look classic but mask modular routing and advanced electronics for future powertrains. Harley isn't chasing trends, it's staging them. Every gleaming detail serves as camouflage for a quiet revolution, turning nostalgia into a Trojan horse for reinvention that leaves competitors playing catch-up while tradition fuels transformation. And the message to the market is clear. Harley isn't being dragged into the future. It's driving into it on its own terms. To outsiders, it's just a new Fat Boy. To insiders, it's the beginning of a modular revolution that could reshape everything we know about the American cruiser. The company has effectively built two bikes in one. One for today's streets and one for tomorrow's horizon. Follow the wiring, and you find Harley's real plan. A move that puts pressure exactly where Honda didn't expect it. If you've ever ridden a Harley or a Honda, drop your take below. This debate's just getting started. Hit like if you believe riders, not corporations, decide the future. Honda exposed, the trap for starter kings. For decades, Honda's advantage was simple math. Build smaller, cheaper motorcycles that welcome first-time riders. From the Rebel 500 to the CB series, Honda owned the beginner's lane. They offered reliability, comfort, and value, a formula that filled garages and trained generations of motorcyclists. But Harley's newest strategy flips that formula. The company isn't chasing Honda's customers one by one. It's removing the reason those customers ever left in the first place. The new Fat Boy bridges myth and modernity with lighter handling, refined comfort, and adaptive controls, inviting riders who once began on Hondas to start with Harley instead. A leaked memo admits Harley's image shifted from exclusive to attainable, a blow to Honda's core strategy. Harley has collapsed the old learning ladder into one powerful platform. Riders can now begin and stay with the same badge, skipping the starter bike stage entirely. And once that tank says Harley-Davidson, few ever look back. The numbers back it up. In dealer surveys, more than 30% of younger respondents said they would now consider a Harley as a first motorcycle if pricing and maintenance matched what they expected from Honda. That has never happened before. It's not about displacement. It's about identity. Harley just proved that the youngest riders still want heritage. They just want it with less intimidation and more intelligence built in. Because what Harley built next isn't a rumor. It's evidence that the culture war is already underway. If Harley's leveling up, your kit should too. Gears and accessories are linked below. Culture first, winning the bar stool before the spec sheet. Before numbers ever win, stories do. Harley knows that a rider's loyalty starts at the bar stool, not the spreadsheet. That's why the Fat Boy's rebirth isn't marketed through performance charts. It's told through pride. Every advertisement leans on imagery of hands on steel, fathers and sons in the garage, women taking the saddle without hesitation. It's not about proving horsepower. It's about proving belonging. Honda sells convenience, Harley sells confidence, and that difference defines the moment. In a digital world, Harley's Fat Boy silhouette, with its solid wheels and timeless stance, reminds riders authenticity still exists, its history re-engineered for modern life. By anchoring innovation and familiarity, Harley eases fear of change. Riders see evolution, not extinction, heritage welded to progress. The Fat Boy stands as a banner for a new generation that honors the past, embraces the future, and rides forward with pride, purpose, and unmistakable American confidence. Inside Harley headquarters, they call it winning the conversation. Because before the test ride, there's always a talk. A moment when pride or doubt decides the sale. Harley wants to own that moment again. They're not chasing specs, they're chasing sentiment. And in the motorcycle world, sentiment sells louder than sound. Proof is coming, inside the machines themselves, where engineering and emotion finally meet head-on. How Harley standardized the future. Harley-Davidson's latest update did more than polish chrome. Beneath the classic curves of the Fat Boy sits a cockpit that quietly rewrites how a Harley communicates with its rider. The new control stack, buttons, toggles, displays, and harnessing, was not built for the old world of mechanical switches. It was engineered for an age of software updates, firmware patches, and silent power delivery. The dash now integrates traction settings, ride modes, and diagnostic access that plug directly into a modular electronic backbone. That backbone is what engineers call the future-proof layer, the same foundation that will support battery-driven torque later. Every sensor on the new Harley platform, throttle, brakes, lights, now speaks one digital language called Unified Response Architecture. Riders get smoother control. Factories swap powertrains seamlessly. Weather-sealed microcontrollers and shared data lines link everything. Technicians access real-time analytics through one-port, future-proofing service. Harley just standardized its entire cruiser DNA, making upgrades, diagnostics, and tuning faster, cheaper, and endlessly adaptable for whatever powertrain comes next. For riders who grew up on carburetors and wrenches, that may sound sterile. But it is exactly what lets the next generation step in without losing the soul of the machine. Harley is not abandoning touch or sound, it is encoding them. The torque curve, the idle pulse, the throttle lag, All are now programmable fingerprints, not mechanical accidents. The company has turned tradition into software. Now add price to that equation, because what Harley did with numbers may be even bolder than what it did with wires. Affordability. Pivot. Harley's new money math. For decades, Harley-Davidson meant saving up. Dealers joked that a Harley was the second mortgage of manhood. But the numbers released alongside the new Fat Boy lineup changed that math. Insiders leaked that Harley has begun testing flexible financing built around subscription-style maintenance and lower monthly thresholds. That means riders who once had to settle for imports can now swing a Harley key without breaking their budgets. It is not charity, it is strategy. By lowering entry costs, Harley welcomes younger riders and veterans who once turned to used Hondas. The smaller price gap favors pride over practicality, especially with new progressive ownership financing that builds loyalty early. Standardized controls boost resale confidence, turning trust into currency. Harley now uses financial engineering like Chrome, catching attention, reflecting value, and reinforcing its legacy of strength, torque, and community that keeps riders connected for life. And perhaps most impressive, Harley pulled this off without discounting its identity. Prices look smarter, not cheaper. Each bike still carries the craftsmanship that keeps older riders proud while finally giving first-timers a reason to walk into the showroom. It is Harley's way of saying, you do not have to grow old to ride American. Scarcity was the next lever, and they pulled it. Icon's blueprint, limited runs, unlimited purpose. At first glance, the Icons program looked like marketing nostalgia. A few special paints, commemorative badges, numbered plates. But beneath the shine sits a blueprint for Harley's new product rhythm. Each Icons release, like the Gray Ghost edition of the Fat Boy, acts as a live laboratory. Engineers test new materials, electronics integration, and supplier partnerships on a small scale before the full rollout. It is the modern version of a prototype hiding in plain sight. By building only a few thousand Icons units, Harley gathers real-world data on performance, durability, and rider response while funding future innovation. Each sold-out model, like the Gray Ghost, tests refined metallurgy and faster electrical layouts, boosting efficiency and profits. Scarcity drives demand, research, and collectability, blending loyalty with learning. The Icons line proves Harley can innovate without losing heritage, turning limited runs into engines of both progress and pride. Honda does limited editions too, but rarely with system-level innovation hidden inside. Harley's Icons program turns exclusivity into R&D with revenue attached. That is how you modernize without scaring off purists. In the process, Harley learned that scarcity can create momentum faster than advertising. Once something sells out, desire multiplies. The next release inherits that fever, and every iteration inches the brand closer to its electric future without ever using the word. When exclusivity sells out, the mass rollout begins, and that is where the real collision starts. Funnel collision, two roads to the same rider. Harley and Honda now aim at the same customer, but they come from opposite directions. Honda's funnel starts at the small engine end. Rebels, Hornets, and commuters that invite new riders with reliability and price. The idea is simple. Get them in young, keep them through progression. Harley's funnel starts with emotion, a recognizable silhouette, a badge that means belonging, and now easier access through pricing and tech. Both roads meet in the middle, where the rider wants identity and efficiency in the same machine. Dealership data shows Honda's mid-range growth slowing as younger riders choose the Fat Boy over the Rebel. Harley sells belonging, Honda sells practicality, and when prices align, pride wins. With modular chassis and unified controls, Harley matches Honda's efficiency while carrying emotional weight Honda can't replicate. Surveys show Harley now leads trust among riders over 35, and the under 30 crowd is closing fast, signaling a generational shift Honda once confidently owned. This convergence marks the real battle of the decade. Not who builds the fastest bike, but who builds the first machine that speaks to both pride and progress. Harley's modernization, hidden behind the Fat Boy's frame, aims squarely at that balance. The company has turned its oldest model into its youngest weapon. Dealers can already feel which way the wind blows, and what comes next will show what happens when that wind hits the showroom floor. Dealer buzz. What's moving on the floor? Step inside any Harley-Davidson showroom this season and you can feel it. The kind of energy dealers haven't felt in years. Sales managers describe it as a pulse, a hum that runs through every conversation on the floor. The Fat Boy's return has not only drawn the old guard back through the doors, but also brought in riders under 35 who grew up believing Harley was out of reach. Test rides are booked weeks ahead. Accessory orders are stacking faster than inventory can keep up. Even in smaller markets, traffic has doubled. Dealers call it nostalgia with horsepower, a revival turning showrooms into movements. Trade-ins from old Japanese cruisers surge as Harley demand rises, fueling loan approvals, cleared parts shelves, and shrinking used inventories. Even technicians feel it. Young mechanics stay for new systems. Veterans sense real change. This isn't hype. It's confidence returning to the floor, where pride, and purpose meet again under Harley's reborn momentum and America's renewed appetite for muscle. But not every whisper is positive. Some smaller dealerships worry supply won't match demand. A few veterans on the floor mutter that this feels too good to be real. Sales graphs can climb only so high before gravity catches them. Enthusiasm feeds numbers, but sustainability feeds payroll. But the used market tells the truth no one can spin, and that truth is starting to surface in real dollars. Used market shift, winners and losers. When the new Fat Boy announcement hit, used bike prices reacted almost overnight. Harley listings that had stagnated for months suddenly moved. Owners pulled ads down, sensing leverage. The first signs came from auction houses where late-model Harleys with modernized control stacks fetched higher bids than expected. In contrast, older Hondas began showing small but steady drops in resale value, especially in the mid-size cruiser segment. What looked like a minor fluctuation has now become a pattern. Analysts now call this a two-tier market. Harley's Fat Boy leads the upper tier with forward-compatible architecture and modular design that boost long-term value and buyer confidence. Even used models rise with its tech narrative. Honda's machines remain reliable but static. A 5-year-old Rebel feels timeless yet outdated. In a resale world fueled by story, Harley sells evolution, Honda sells endurance. One excites investors, the other merely assures them. For dealers, this split creates both opportunity and tension. Trade-in values for older Hondas are dropping, which makes it easier for those riders to switch brands. But it also means many feel the sting of lost equity. That emotional hit matters. Riders start asking what they're getting for their loyalty. Harley's pitch, heritage retooled for the future, suddenly sounds like a safe bet, even for pragmatists. And behind those prices hides something deeper: identity, the one thing money alone can't manufacture. Identity clash, pride versus practicality. The heart of motorcycling has always been emotional. Riders don't buy torque figures, they buy belonging. Yet the modern rider now stands at a crossroads between pride and practicality. The Harley crowd speaks the language of lineage, leather, steel, and noise that rattles windows. The Honda camp speaks the language of function, efficiency, reliability, and a quiet hum that fades into the city's soundtrack. For years, these worlds barely touched. Now they are colliding on the same showroom floor. In dealerships, generations are crossing lines. A 25-year-old compares the Fat Boy's digital dash to a Rebel's simplicity, while a 60-year-old embraces adaptive controls. Harley has fused heritage with progress, giving riders pride and practicality in one machine. Meanwhile, Honda's once accessible image feels sanitized and corporate. Harley made loud proud again, and pride moves faster than precision, reclaiming authenticity that riders crave in a world growing too polished and predictable. Still, beneath the excitement lies anxiety. Change divides tribes. Some old-school loyalists mutter that too much tech will dull the soul. Younger riders worry Harley will stay stuck in tradition, just as it's getting interesting. Between those extremes stands the average rider, torn between the roar that built an identity and the silence that signals the future. Honda knows this, and it's not staying quiet. If this story made you rethink the road ahead, hit subscribe. We break down the moves that change motorcycling before the headlines do. Stay sharp, stay loyal, and never let someone else define your ride. Honda's counterpunch, speed over soul. In Tokyo boardrooms, Honda executives are studying Harley's resurgence with a mix of respect and alarm. Their response is speed. The company is accelerating development of its mid-size performance line, pushing new engines, lighter frames, and aggressive price points to recapture momentum. Rumors point to hybrid systems and compact torque assist units that could make smaller bikes feel like they punch above their class. The strategy is to overwhelm with precision where Harley leads with presence. Honda's latest machines are precise and efficient but lack the emotional pull Harley has reignited. Admiration doesn't equal obsession, and in this market, dreams sell. While Honda thrives in dense Asian and European cities with 500 cubic centimeter bikes, Harley owns America's open roads. Analysts already see Honda's engagement slipping as Harley's announcement sparks more conversation in 1 week than Honda's entire quarter, a warning that emotion still drives dominance. For now, Honda can compete on speed and efficiency, but not on soul. Harley has redefined the narrative, turning every sale into a statement of belonging. While Honda focuses on engines, Harley is building identity, a weapon that's harder to copy and impossible to underprice. Meanwhile, Washington is quietly tipping the scales, and that support could decide which flag flies higher in the years ahead. Policy tailwind, made in America. And assemble within American borders. For Harley, that policy was more than patriotic window dressing. It was a strategic accelerant. The company's domestic footprint suddenly became its competitive advantage. While foreign rivals shuffle paperwork to qualify for partial credits, Harley already meets most requirements straight off the line. Each Harley built with mostly U.S. components earns credits that offset research, tooling, and workforce costs, letting the company reinvest faster than import-heavy rivals. While Honda's reliance on foreign subcomponents limits its benefits, Harley's domestic sourcing, from Pennsylvania steel to Wisconsin sensors, strengthens its margin, supports American jobs, and reinforces the brand's identity as a symbol of craftsmanship and national pride. The deeper meaning is pride. For riders who bleed red, white, and blue, owning a Harley is no longer just sentimental. It's economic participation. Every sale keeps jobs at home. Every mile ridden echoes a small piece of national resilience. Production help is one thing, parts supply is another, and Harley's next move is what keeps the engines turning and the shelves full. Supply and battery logic, solving the parts puzzle. Modern motorcycles are built on logistics as much as metal. Harley's resurgence depends on keeping that supply web tight, local, and reliable. Over the last 2 years, the company has quietly rewired its sourcing strategy. Instead of depending on a single foreign supplier for electronic modules or alloy casings, Harley now operates a network of smaller partnerships spread across North America. Each partner handles a different component: circuit boards in Arizona, casting in Wisconsin, sensor calibration in Ontario. The idea is simple: shorten the route, strengthen control. Harley's regional supply network shields it from global shipping chaos, keeping production steady and dealers confident. Its new platform supports multiple propulsion systems, with battery integration led by an American partner specializing in compact, efficient modules. By prioritizing recycling and domestic refinement over foreign lithium, Harley reduces political risk and reinforces its reputation for reliability, independence, and patriotic manufacturing strength. What makes this approach genius is how invisible it feels to the customer. Riders won't see any of this when they fire up a Fat Boy, but they'll feel it in the availability of parts, the consistency of service, and the trust that their bike won't be orphaned when supply lines tighten. Harley has built its reputation on dependability, and now that dependability extends beyond the road, it's baked into the company's entire manufacturing rhythm. But machines don't build themselves, people do, and Harley knows its next frontier is keeping those people skilled, proud, and loyal. Labor and service, new skills, same handshake. At the center of every Harley dealership sits something money can't automate, the human touch. No software update can replace a mechanic's handshake or a service manager's grin after a job well done. Harley understands this, and that's why its latest evolution doesn't stop with technology. It extends to the people who make the experience personal. Harley-Davidson is upskilling technicians through nationwide programs that teach modern diagnostics while preserving craftsmanship. Local training centers certify experts for both heritage and advanced systems, strengthening loyalty between riders and service bay. On factory floors, modular assembly and mentorship blend human skill with automation. The message is clear: technology serves workers, not replaces them. Proving Harley's modernization empowers people, preserves tradition, and keeps American craftsmanship alive through balance, precision, and pride. For the broader economy, this labor investment matters. Each skilled job stays on shore, and each paycheck circulates back through American communities. Harley's strategy binds blue-collar pride to high-tech progress, proving that the next generation of manufacturing can still wear grease-stained gloves. So what's the smart move for the rider watching this unfold? The answer lies not in factories or boardrooms, but in the garage. The rider's move, your garage, your timing. For every rider listening to this story, the question is simple. What does all this mean for you? The answer depends on timing. The market is shifting fast, but smart timing can turn change into opportunity. If you're holding an older Harley, its value may climb as demand for legacy styling rises alongside the new tech wave. If you're eyeing the updated Fat Boy, the next few quarters could be ideal. Early buyers benefit from limited availability and trade-in incentives while inventory still trails excitement. For Honda owners considering a switch, patience may pay off as mid-cycle incentives grow. Buying a Harley means joining a movement, investing in metal and meaning that sustain American workers, welders, and engineers. The next decade will separate those who adapt from those who hesitate. Pride and permanence now rest in your garage, because no matter how the industry evolves, one truth remains: freedom on two wheels is built, not bought. They said Harley was history. Turns out it's writing the next one. What just happened isn't a comeback, it's a warning. The balance between pride and progress has shifted, and every rider will feel it. If this story made you question what's parked in your garage, good. That's where every revolution starts. So, what do you think? Did this move rewrite the rules or just stir the noise? Drop your take below, hit subscribe, and stick around, because the next reveal might be even bigger.